Romance and sex, very serious. Pastor, we should teach people the raw way of doing it.
So it seems like that video was about maybe church, elderly people in church or married couples giving advice on what it takes, to overcome marriage challenges. And this is one of the reasons that they are giving. And it doesn't make sense to me because if they're making happiness in marriage or success in marriage all about, doing whatever style or whatever in the other room, does that mean that every couple that, are active in the other room are always happy? So you find out that there are women that are in abusive relationships. The man has really designed their faces. The man is traumatizing the children. But you find that woman going back. Why? Because she has a good time when she goes in the room with the man. So that shows that the fact that a couple is doing well in that department does not necessarily mean that that relationship is automatically going to be successful. Now, instead of turning churches or marriage counseling sessions into graphic pornography sessions, why not take time to start talking about the real issues that cause problems in marriage? Because who are the people that are teaching the raw facts of what marriage really costs people, especially women? Instead, they're there teaching women, okay, you have to pray and fast and everything so that you'll be chosen by men, so that you'll be picked. But nobody is having those raw conversations about there's something called the motherhood penalty, and there's also something called the wifehood penalty in patriarchy, right? So if you choose to be a wife or a mother, these are the things that it's going to cost you. And if you're going to be an intentional man who is going to go against the grain of patriarchy and build a quality relationship with your wife, this is the actual cost. Nobody is talking about that. A lot of women go into marriage, they think, oh, it's all about being starry eyed. Oh, we're going to get to do whatever, instead of hiding in the bushes and sneaking around, we can feel free to do whatever. That's what a lot of people that go into relationships think. Oh, they romanticize everything. Oh, he's my sweetie, she's my this. But they go in there and then reality sets in. Why are they not pushing these conversations? Who is teaching men the raw way to be emotionally available to their wives and children? Who is teaching men the raw truth about participating in household chores, not for the selfish purpose of getting laid, but just because it is something that needs to be done since they are members of that household? How about teaching men the raw truth about seeing women as humans and not sex objects? They might as well start a corn studio and start teaching them in practicum, right? Let them just set up a bed there and start teaching them in practicum the raw way to do things. That's just so irritating. And the thing is, whether it's Moses or whether it is Abraham or whether it is I don't know, Jesus, whether it's Apostle Paul, I never saw them teaching these things. I never saw Jesus say, okay, let us talk about marriage, let us talk about how to avoid infidelity. Jesus knew that infidelity could arise in relationships, but he didn't say it is just because there is no style that is being done. They're not doing the right style. So when he was talking about, okay, if there's infidelity, you can break up. He didn't say, oh, don't break up. You know what? Let me explain to you guys the raw style. I came from my father and I can do all things. I can show you guys a practical way of doing it. Jesus never taught that. Apostle Paul never taught that. Even when they're talking about marriage, they say, oh, the bed is undefiled. They talk about it, in a way that is not graphic. But there this woman now, this Christian mother is saying it is time to be, this is what we need to be teaching. This is the most important thing. As if that in itself will keep a man that wants to go out from going out. So the thing is that there is so much pornography addiction out there. And that is why there is so much need to say, okay, I need to do this style or do that style or whatever. Anybody can do whatever it is that they want to do, but this obsession as if it's about what you do or whatever that will keep a relationship. So if sex is something that's supposed to come naturally, why is it that somebody needs to teach the raw way of doing it? Because sex is an urge that comes from time to time, and the body knows how to meet those needs, right? The body knows what to do with who to do it to meet those needs. So why is it that you need somebody to come and be teaching you? Did anybody teach you how to poop? Even a baby, if they want to poop, they just in the diaper, you see them, they'll be straining and go and hide in one corner and be pushing until it comes out. Does anybody teach you to eat? Even a baby that comes out, next thing you see, they're sucking. Anything you put in their mouth, they're already sucking, right? Does anybody teach us how to yawn? If you see someone yawning, the next thing you see, your mouth will open up, you're yawning. Does anybody teach us how to sleep? Because no matter what position you are, if sleep comes knocking, you just fall down there and sleep it off, right? So it is this over obsession with, pornography. They see so many corn stars doing all manner of things. Their brain is so filled with that. You see a woman, next thing you're thinking is what you're going to do to her. So that's where the need for, okay, teaching raw or whatever they need to do comes in. So let us normalize addressing real issues in relationships. I'm not saying that there are not issues that could come up in the bedroom or whatever. There are issues such as ED and all that. Those things can be addressed. But the notion that, okay, there is a particular way you will do things that will solve problems, becomes an issue, because you find out that a lot of women are being pressured to do certain things that they're not comfortable with, because the man will say, this is how I will do it and I'll be okay. Right? Because they have watched so much things and their brain cannot even think straight. And this is in the church. So if this is what the church is saying that the problem is, what do you think will be going on in the world? So, my dear sisters, when it comes to the issue of what happens in the bedroom, do what you're comfortable with. Have that conversation with your husband and speak up for yourself. Don't allow anybody to push you into gymnastics and doing things that your conscience is not comfortable with, just because you think if you do it, it's going to keep them from wandering. A man who wants to wander will wander away, even if you sacrifice yourself, even if you contort yourself into a pretzel to meet their whatever fantasy that they are trying to satisfy, they will still wander. So don't even allow yourself to be cajoled into doing things that don't align with what you're comfortable with.